All right, so today we're going to be setting up your stream so that you can hear ACT callouts, Triggernometry callouts, or Cactbot callouts, but your stream will not be able to hear them. So to perform this setup, I use a software called Voicemeeter Banana. Voicemeeter Banana is a sound device manager kind of for your computer. You can use it to create two virtual sound outputs, and you can control which applications send audio into those two outputs. So for example, you could have Final Fantasy send traffic to one output, but ACT could send it to a different output. And that's what we're going to be using to set up our call-out free stream today. So you'll notice here at the top right is our hardware out. I have two hardware devices that I want sound to come out of on my computer. I have this headset right here, and I also have a capture card. If you only have one device, that's fine too. You only need to do A1. But if you have both devices, or three devices even, you can use this to customize where your audio output comes out at on your two virtual audio channels. So the first step is to select your hardware device here in A1 and A2 or A3, depending on how many devices you have. If you only have one device, just use A1. Then you can select A1, A2, and A3 here. Not sure if this is required, but this is definitely required, which is your virtual inputs. You select which inputs are going to output to the physical devices. So you're creating a virtual output device, and you're using these triggers here to control which physical devices the sound comes out of. I want all of my sounds to come out of both my headset and my capture card, so I'm going to select A1 and A2 for both of these, which is going to be up here, your hardware out, right? If you only have one device, just select A1. I also have a microphone here, but you'll notice I'm not actually sending that audio anywhere because I'm actually not using the microphone virtual inputs or outputs with Discord or with my stream, because I have like I said, I have a separate streaming PC and it has its own mic, right? So after you have this software set up and you've set up your speakers and your inputs and outputs, the first thing you're going to do is open up your sound settings. They're going to look like this. So all I did is I opened Windows over here in Cortana, or the search, whatever you want to call it, typed in sound. You should get sound settings. And you'll notice that my audio output device is actually the Voicemeeter Input VB Audio Voicemeeter VAIO. That's this device right here. This is a virtual device that Voicemeeter installs on your computer whenever you run the application for the first time. You might need to restart your computer after installing Voicemeeter to get it to show up. Your input device, that doesn't matter so much. That's just what microphone you're using for Discord and whatnot. It's not going to impact your stream too much unless you've got like your OBS is pulling from this device here, like for default microphone input. Down here we have advanced sound settings. This is where the magic happens. You can set in Windows 10, you can set which applications use what outputs. So you're going to come here, you're going to go to Advanced Combat Tracker, and if you're using Cactbot, you might also have a Ceph# browser subprocess. If either of these don't show up, make sure you're running the game, make sure ACT is on, and go hit something to start combat, and you should see both of these show up. You'll notice that I've got these output set to Voicemeeter aux input VAIO. So I'm sending them to the aux channel. And that's important because you notice back here, my output device is actually just the Voicemeeter VAIO device. So that's different from the aux device. These are actually two different devices to your computer, right? So the important thing is to have the one that you have your audio coming out of, which is arbitrary. You can pick either one. I like to use this first one, VAIO, to be the one that has your Final Fantasy sound on it. And the second one, the aux, is the one that I'm sending my ACT and Cactbot triggers to. Cool. So within ACT, there's a little bit of setup you have to do here. Cactbot should now be sending to your aux device, but your ACT Triggernometry will not, because Triggernometry uses its own implementation of audio plugins. So you may need to come here and go to Options, Edit Configuration, which just showed up on my other monitor, sorry, and go to Audio, and then you can use ACT for playing sound files and use ACT for text-to-speech. So if you check both of these, now Triggernometry is going to use the same audio device as ACT, which you have already set up to use your aux output. Right, so now you're going to go into OBS. I'll pull up OBS over here, and you should have something that's like desktop audio. And let's select the device we're going to use for that. And you'll notice I'm using the Voicemeeter Input VB Audio Voicemeeter VAIO, which is the same one that my computer sounds are set to play on. All right, so we sent our applications to the aux input, but we sent our computer sound to this standard Voicemeeter VAIO. And then in our stream, we're actually sending the Voicemeeter Input VAIO out to the stream. Notably, this does not include the aux inputs. So that's how you set it up so that ACT doesn't pull your Cactbot triggers and your Triggernometry triggers into your stream. So technically they're using different outputs now. What if you don't want your overlay showing? That's a lot simpler. So all you have to do is, instead of doing a Windows capture, you can perform a game capture. So what you would do is you come here, instead of doing window capture or monitor capture, you would just do game capture, and it will give you a little pop-up that says, what window do you want to capture? Or I want to capture Final Fantasy XIV, right? So that's all she wrote for that. That should cover you for removing the plugin overlays, and it should cover you for removing the sounds from your stream. After you've done all this setup, I would recommend restarting your computer at least once. I would also recommend running Voicemeeter upon Windows startup so that it automatically boots when you start your PC. Sometimes after I power cycle my computer, I have to come back in here to sound settings, sounds, and I have to reselect the VAIO input. That's fine because it might automatically pick your headset as the default input. So just keep that in mind if you restart your computer and suddenly Voicemeeter doesn't work anymore. But apart from that, that should be all you need to get up and running. Yeah, see you around.